Now we can look at the final element of your arable record keeping on AgriWebb, and that will be to analyze your reports so you can get a good overview of all of your arable operation. You'll be able to see how much you're spending on each paddock and how productive each paddock has been over a certain date range so that you can make correctly informed management decisions from real life data. So to access these reports, you're going to want to come to the web portal on your laptop or computer, and then click on the Reports tab on the left-hand side here. Then you can click on Cropping at the top, and you'll now see we have a list of the different reports that we can access. These 4 reports at the top are all fairly similar in their structure. The only difference is they contain slightly different information on the different records that you've captured. So we can see we have our cultivation records, treatment records, harvest and sowing. I'll use the sowing records report here as an example. So if we click into this report, it'll just load the data up in front of us now. Now that it's loaded, we can see all of the sowing records that we've made within this selected date range. So you can click on the date picker in the top right to choose a specific period. If you wanted to see last year's sowing records or just a certain month, you can customize that fully. You can also customize the columns that are present in the report by clicking the columns button at the top here and then selecting the columns that are relevant to the information that you want to see. And in the report itself, we get a summary of the date that the field was sowed, which field it is in question. We get the total area, which is totaled at the bottom here. We can see the seeds that we've applied, seed rate, seed cost per kilogram, and total. And as you can see here, this totals up at the bottom, so you can get a great insight as to how much you're spending on all of your seeds over a certain period. We can also see the contractor costs to see how much you're spending on labor, and a breakdown of a cost per hectare. The final cost column here will show a total cost combined from labor, fuel, and seed costs, so that you can get a real good insight into how much you're spending on each field. As I said, this is basically the same for each arable record, so be sure to check out each report to analyze these insights. Every report is fully exportable, so you can click the export button in the top right here and export these to both Excel or CSV files, as well as printing them directly with the print button here. The final report which I'm going to show you is the Paddock cost of production, and this report basically combines all of these 4 reports above into one report, so you can see the total spend of all your arable records on each paddock, and this will give you a real insight into how much you're spending on producing crops on every single field, so you can make a decision as to whether it's worth it, whether it's producing enough. So as you can see here, we've got a list of all of our different paddocks. We have treatment costs, cultivation costs, sowing costs, harvest costs, total yield, and a total cost. And as you can see, this cost is again summarized at the bottom, so you can see how much you're spending on your whole arable operation, and you'd then be able to compare these totals against your kind of yields and your sale prices to get a rough profit and loss from your whole arable operation. Again, it's worth customizing the columns here so you can add in all the different aspects that are relevant to you, so that you can then export this, share this with others, share this with your team, so you can get a real good insight into your whole operation.